Hey YouTubers, this is the Anonymous Reality TV blogger. Hope you guys are having an amazing day today. I'm reviewing the Love Island Australia Season 3, Episode 6, and wow, it was pretty action-packed today. The episode started off recapping the previous episode's recoupling, and then it kind of just fast forward and picked up with kind of the aftermath of everybody's reaction to Ari still saying she had feelings for Brian, and then Ari kind of had like a mini breakdown, and Jess and Courtney were trying to comfort her and kind of say that, some people don't have the strength or the confidence to do that, and at least she put it all out there and there's no regrets. And so Brian then said to Lexi that he was less stressed now that they were recoupled, and she basically told him that Ari had said that she still had feelings for him, and she was shocked that she chose Aaron and thought that, she was going to choose Ryan or whatever. And so they had like a little chuckle about that. And then Mitch and Tina were getting on because now they're officially in a couple. So, and he was all like, well, we don't have to hide anymore. So that was that. So that was kind of where everything left. And then Jess sort of threw a bomb to the girls, basically saying that she may still have some feelings that are unresolved for Aaron. And so since her BFF is Ari, and Ari is also BFFs with Aaron, she immediately tells him as they're going to bed that, I know Jess is my friend, but don't think things are so sure with her and Taku. And he's like, oh no, not again. And he's basically saying in his diary room that every time he tries to pull away from Jess, she comes back in with this bombshell. So now he's all confused once more. So then the next day comes around, and pretty much the entire villa but Taku knows that Jess is still having some unresolved feelings with Aaron. And I don't know if everybody just told their couples overnight and pillow talk, but basically everyone but Taku was not aware. And so then originally Jess was going to wait till like the end of the day to tell him, but she ended up just telling him a little bit later because it was just awkward. And Taku's in the pool, and Jess is like playing with his fingers and stuff, and basically kind of tells him that she's open to seeing other people and getting to know other people and this and that she still likes him. And Taku's thinking, okay, what the heck? And he's like, he understands that it's early days, but he sees something suspicious. And then the bees started flying around, and he was like, it's because they smell BS coming over. And so he kind of just originally thought that, okay, maybe Jess just wants to explore other connections potentially, but that she still would be all about him. And so then a little bit later, Taku got with the guys to kind of have a debrief about the girls. And that's when Aaron told Taku that, Jess basically told him, hey, I have unresolved feelings for you. I think we should give it a go again. Basically making, what the conversation him and Jess had a lot more serious than what Jess had led on with her and Taku. So now Taku's upset because he's like, why didn't you just tell me that? We just literally had a recoupling last night where I said all of these things about you and wanting to take this serious and wanting to focus on one person. And then you just dropped this bomb like literally the next day. And then he just kind of felt defeated and felt as though like last night didn't mean anything. So, and I'm totally there with Taku. I feel that Jess is playing a very dangerous game of, this back and forth. And it's fine to play hard to get, but the issue is, with the exception of the Jordan situation, with both Aaron and Taku, she basically gave them, the impression that she was all in once she originally, returned their feelings. And then the second that she does that, and the second that they think that they're, full speed ahead, then she pumps the brakes and is like, oh, wait, I'm confused. So I feel like deep down, she's waiting still for something better, but that she really doesn't like Taku. but she also wants Aaron to work harder for her. So in the meantime, she's in this like weird triangle. But then this gets a little bit interesting later. Emily comes in, our new bombshell, and she came in hot. She did everything that Lexi did not do as a bombshell, which is why she is on the chopping block. She's on notice. Emily is, I think she said she had a double major, and her degree was in geoscience. She is a finalist for the Miss Australian representation for Miss Universe. She just came in hot, and originally said in her text to have a date with two of the guys, so she chose Mitch and Ronnie. And they also had a date to where it was on the beach, which was really nice, and it was very windy. And so the instant that Emily walks up, Mitch is like, oh my gosh, I know her, I used to DM this girl. And so he's like panicking and freaking out. And so Emily and Mitch, they're all having some banter, and, he's asking her, do I look the same? Do I look like a catfish? And she was like, no. And he was like, I thought, yeah, we were going to date. And Emily's like, well, I don't date DMs. So she was just laying it on thick and just letting him know like what time it was. So she had a nice little chat with Mitch, and they were flirting a little bit, as well as she was flirting some with Ronnie. And Ronnie seems to have his confidence up a little bit now that he's in a new couple with Courtney. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, the rejuvenation of being selected for a date. So we'll see more to come on that. So then after the date, of course, the guys and Emily come back, and, immediately Mitch goes to the guys and he's like, I'm freaking out. I know this girl. We used to DM each other. And he's like, I need a man cave. I need a bat cave to lay all this out. So he originally wanted them to keep it a secret. But then the instant that Emily got with the girls, she basically told them like, yeah, me and Mitch know each other. We've already DM'd each other before, this and that. And so then Mitch, of course, overhears and tries to downplay it. And, and she was like, well, you were in my DMs first. And he was like, well, you responded. So it was a little bit of banter of that. So, of course, they keep asking Tina, how she's doing. And so she said that, obviously she's not thrilled that they previously have known each other. But at the same token, she's still going to pursue things as of now with Mitch. So, then furthermore, Emily had a conversation with Taku that went really well. She said that originally he was her top pick because she felt that he was really nice and genuine and a sweetheart and everything else. So they had a good chat and some good banter. And then later they got ready for the evening to kind of do the evening toast or what have you. And so then Emily pulls Ryan, which got interesting because pretty much Lexi was attached to Ryan the entire day. But then shortly after they toasted in the evening, she pulled Ryan and, was flirting it up with him. And then Ryan started getting in his feelings like, oh yeah, she's the perfect girl. She's intelligent. She's gorgeous. She's this and that. And I was like, I don't know if he's all in on Lexi. And I knew that would happen. And so furthermore, there was a game, and it reminded me of Love Island's season 3 that just happened. It was like a Mr. and Mrs. game, but they did it a little bit later in the show, once the couples knew each other a little bit more. But basically it was a couples game in terms of how well do you know each other, and you basically had to write these answers on a chalkboard, and if you matched with your couple, you got a point. If you didn't, then you didn't get a point. So pretty much a lot of the questions they weren't too bad. They were kind of questions like, what would you name your kids? What's your favorite food? What's your, just kind of some basic stuff. And then it got interesting to where the question, of course, was how many people did the guys have sleep with. So everybody, of course, knew that Ryan had over 500 partners. And then Lexi got in a little dig that he's probably a father too. And I was like, whoa. So she was just totally, getting some digs in there. And Mitch completely undersold how many women he's hooked up with, because he said that he's been a bachelor for so long, playing football and everything else, that he's really not been tied down. So he totally went way below on the numbers. But the highlight of the game was the question for the guys, that if they were not in their current couple, who would they couple up with? And so while I expected most of them to say Emily, I was surprised that Chris said Jess. And we, of course, knew Aaron was going to say Jess. And so that was like a little bit of a surprise, but everybody else pretty much held serve with saying Emily. So, and then another interesting tidbit was when the girls were asked, who else that they felt was good looking or the best looking guy in the villa, Jess's answer actually was Ryan. So that really turned some heads, because we've never heard Jess talk about Ryan. It's always been about Aaron, and then now up until recently, Taku. And so Lexi's all upset. She's like, I don't want this love triangle to turn into a square. I already see that Ryan has eyes for Emily, and I don't need Jess in the mix too, and blah, blah, blah. But my thing is, it's not a love square, it's a pentagon, because you still have Ari, even though Ryan doesn't feel the same way, but, she still has some unrequited love for him. So you've got a few girls that are attracted to your couple, but don't get too comfortable, because the same thing that you did to Ari can also happen to you. And so all the girls are kind of feeling a certain kind of way. Tina's calling it Emily Island already after the first day. And then Ryan is basically saying, Emily is about to stir things up and turn things upside down, that she's flirting with all the guys, that all of the guys basically are in trouble who are into her. So to stay tuned. So I cannot wait to see what Emily does and which couples she shakes up, because definitely this is what a bombshell is supposed to do on these shows. They are supposed to come in with full confidence, flirt with everybody, not make anyone feel, any of the girls feel like their couples are safe, and have the boys drooling over her. That is what you do as a bombshell. You want to make it known, your presence known. You want to make it known that you are the object of their affection. You are the prize. You are the one that they need to be coupled up with. And Emily did absolutely that and more. They did not show, I didn't see a preview for tomorrow's episode, so I'm hoping some type of preview or something will happen momentarily. If not, it usually happens a couple hours or so before the episode airs. But that was pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that took place. So let me know your guys' thoughts on the episode. And we will be back once again. So talk to you guys soon.